Joining us now, former British commander Richard Kemp, Colonel Richard Kemp, live from London. The big news, of course, over the weekend, Israel has finally responded to the Iranian provocations. I would have preferred to see Israel go much, much further, Richard. I would have liked to see them take out the Ayatollahs. I would have liked to see them destroy the evil Iranian Islamic regime so that the people of Iran could be free. Finally, it's been too many decades that these monsters have been in power, but there was some retaliation from Israel, held back, it would appear, Colonel Richard Kemp, by the Americans. Is that correct? By the Biden administration?
Yeah, I mean, the strike this morning in Israeli time was absolutely extraordinary. It was a remarkable effort. It included destroying air defense systems in Syria and Iraq, which were on the path to Iran, then destroying Iran's air defense systems and effectively knocking out the entire air defense capabilities of Iran, I believe.
Fantastic.
And also very severe damage to Iran's capability of producing missiles. They've obviously used missiles against Israel, and Israel, I think, has at least for a period of time put a stop to any further production. So a serious attack, but I agree with you. It could have been much more devastating and probably should have been. I think the calculation made by the Israeli Prime Minister was that he would do as much as he could get away without incurring the wrath of the US president in the lead up to an election. And then, in the hope maybe of a completely different type of administration in Washington from January, then of completing the job, which it would include the levels of devastation that you just mentioned and that I would agree with.
Rita.
Now, what's the backstory on this UNRWA worker who was killed? The UN is confirming that one of their staffers was killed. Israel says that he was a Hamas force commander, that he led the killing and kidnapping of Israelis from a roadside bomb shelter near a kibbutz. His name's Mohammed Abu Atawi. Do we know if he was a commander in Hamas whilst being employed by UNRWA?
Well, I would certainly take Israel's word for that. Israel does not make statements of that sort, unlike Hamas. They don't make statements like that aren't true. So I would certainly assume that they know that for a fact, otherwise they wouldn't say it. And of course, we've had plenty of previous examples of UNRWA employees involving themselves in Hamas terrorist activities, including actually going into Israel on the 7th of October and taking part in the horrific attacks that occurred there, including kidnapping. And we know that at least one UNRWA teacher held an Israeli hostage in his house inside Gaza. We know also it's not just UNRWA. I mean, UNRWA should be ashamed of what they've done. But it's the UN as an entity, and you look at what UNIFIL has done. UNIFIL has been there to prevent the militarization of southern Lebanon since, I think it was 1991 or 1996. And they've totally failed. And there are some reports that suggest they've actually been assisting Hezbollah in their activities in southern Lebanon. So the whole infrastructure, the whole edifice of the UN really does need to be re-examined, I think.